All right, what's going on, everyone? It's James with DadLord343. I'm on the way back from my in-laws' house, spending the weekend with them. I got to go back to work, unfortunately, while our house is getting renovated. But I just want to hop on here and make a video about pretty much my car buying philosophy when buying cars through Facebook Marketplace. I'm no expert. I don't do this for a living or anything, but I have bought about half a dozen cars off Facebook Marketplace, so I just wanted to go through my sort of process first and just let everybody know my process for buying cars off Facebook Marketplace, because it is a very daunting task. And this can be applied to other car buying websites too. This is just specifically, I've done it on Facebook Marketplace about 6 times. So let's get into it. So step number one, first and foremost, is finding a good, reliable car. Again, a good, reliable car. That's going to be something that's a Toyota, a Honda, maybe some Fords, some Chevys, no Kias, no Hyundais, however you say it, none of that crap. Probably no Jeeps, no other car brands, no Nissans. Let me see if I can find any other car brands that are big no-nos. If you guys have any questions about this, don't come to me. Go watch Car Wizard. He has a lot more experience than I do. He knows what he's doing. Basically, but once you find a good, reliable car and you've watched, video reviews on it, you've watched, if Car Wizard has a video about it, watch a Car Wizard video about it, and, say that you found, let's just say I'm going to do one that I personally bought, a 2012 Camry. So say that you want a 2012 Camry, your first thing, so you decide that you want a 2012 Camry. So you go on Facebook Marketplace, you look up 2012 Camry. You find a nice looking example one, you click on it, or you find one for like within your budget. You click on it, it looks good, it's not ragged out from the pictures. Now the next thing you do, so step number two, so after number one, you find a good example of a good, reliable car that you want. Step number two, this is what a lot of people may neglect to do. You look at the seller's profile on Facebook, and you look at them, and you determine, you have to make a character judgment here. Now, I mean, this can get all sorts of go sideways with how I get into this, but you need to look at this person and legitimately think to yourself, is this person going to do all of the oil changes? Are they going to change the brakes? Are they going to change the tires? Are they going to change the rotors as needed if they get warped? Are they going to do basic maintenance on the car? Are they going to do the water belt and timing belt, the water pump and timing belt when it's due? Are they going to change the spark plugs? You need to look at this person and make a judgment call on that seller of the vehicle on Facebook Marketplace. Is this somebody who I would trust servicing my vehicle or my future vehicle? You need to make that judgment call. So, I mean, at the end of the day, according to Car Wizard, he says only 25% of Americans even change their oil in their cars. So you need to make a judgment call on that person and determine, hey, does this person look like they do the maintenance on their vehicles? After that, say that you message, this person looks like a good, legitimate person. They have a good family or something, it doesn't look like they're a car flipper. This looks like it's a family car. They have a description. Oh, another thing to look for is make sure that they actually write a description about it. If somebody just writes, send me your best offer and nothing else about it, it's probably a piece of crap car, because they didn't even take the time to write out a decent description about it. So always read the description and make sure that they actually put something in there. Most of my cars have had a write-up about it. They'll say, for example, the car I'm driving now, a 2007 Toyota Highlander, has X amount of miles on it. I've owned it for 3 years. Blah, 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 blah. I've had, this issue with the transmission, but, after we flushed the transmission, it was fine. I think that's literally what was written up about this car when I bought it. My Porsche Boxster, now it did not have a write-up on it, but it said, car is in great shape. I would, selling this car or posting this listing for my dad. For more information, please call this number, because a lot of people are older and they don't like to use Facebook. They don't want to write up all that crap on a small phone on Facebook. So I understand why that, and I was able to call the gentleman, and he told me all about the car, told me when the oil was changed, told me all the service he'd done to it, which was not a whole lot. But basically, you need to communicate with the seller, because when you are looking at a car on Facebook, you are dating the seller. Like, you really are dating the seller, and you're like, is this a good person that would take care of a car? Does this person look like they take care of their vehicle? Do they take care of their house? Do they take care of their family? Like, what is their public persona pushed out on Facebook look like? Do they have like Does their background picture, does it have guns and drugs in it? You know, do they have yeah, you know, does it have you know, contraband in their profile picture? If it does, then don't buy from them. That's probably a telltale sign that this person's public perception, this person does not care about their public perception, and they probably don't care about the car that you're trying to drive, that you're trying to buy from them. So I would recommend do not buy a car from somebody that has illegal stuff, you know, posted for public to see on their Facebook page. Anyway, so basically you check out the seller, you find out that they're good, they're legitimate, so you shoot them a message. You know, you say, hey, I want to look at this car, you know, and you try to set up a time. So my thing, the next step can either go two ways. You either go, if it's under 30 minutes away from my house, I will go first and look at the vehicle first, because you know that's basically, I'm going to need to take at least an hour and a half of my time to go out and check out this vehicle, which is not a lot of time. But if it's over an hour away, then I may consider running the Carfax first, because a Carfax is $40, and that could be a $40 well spent that you don't have to go and waste an hour and waste, you know, if it's over an hour away, you're going to end up at least wasting 2.5, 3 hours of your time going over there. So, you know, you can save a little bit of time by running the Carfax first. And if something egregious comes up on the Carfax, then you're good. But anyway, so let's say you make a plan to go meet them. You go meet the seller. You get a vehicle checklist, a pre-purchase inspection vehicle checklist. You can find these online. I can try to link the one that I used down below. I used one when buying this Highlander. I went over everything that it said to go over on there. You know, it says like, check the AC, check the heat, you know, get the car up to 80 miles an hour when you test drive it, run over the whole car, look underneath the car. If you can jack up the car, jack up the car. Here's another one that most sellers won't let you do, but if you can, well, if you can potentially, depending on what type of oil filter the vehicle has, if you could bring another oil filter for that vehicle, and if you can bring a wrench, you pop off the oil filter of the prospective vehicle that you're buying and empty that into a clean bucket or a clean drain catch, and you examine that oil and you see if there's big metal chunks in there or anything fun like that. But basically, so you go and you test drive the car and you examine the car for the first time. You go over and you look at the car. You don't bring any cash, because this person could be trying to rob you, so don't bring any cash. It may be a good idea to show up with a weapon. I'm not going to say either way. I don't know your state's laws. But personally, I show up with a weapon every time. I mean, it's concealed, obviously. I don't want to scare anybody. But I'm not going to go unarmed because to meet a random person to potentially trade a lot of cash with. So I go and I test drive the vehicle, get it up to 80 miles an hour, go through my due diligence, do my checklist, check everything in the car, start it up a few times. Preferably to do not let the seller start that car that day that you go and look at it. You want to listen to it from a completely cold start, nothing going on, with nothing in the car first. So completely cold start too, that's a big telltale sign. So basically you go, you drive it, everything looks good, you go over your checklist, so you go back. The next thing you do at your house is you run that Carfax. Now you're actually putting some money into it, which unfortunately this process, you're going to have to put a little bit of money into it, but it could save you a lot on the back end, because, you know, say you put $40 into the Carfax and $100 into a pre-purchase inspection, which I'm about to get to, then that may save you $3, $4, $5, $6, $10,000 plus dollars in the long run from you buying a crappy car. So anyway, so you go and you run that Carfax after you've looked at it yourself. You know, you determine there's no weird leaks, there's no weird sounds. It starts up fine, it runs fine, you can get it up to 80 miles an hour on the highway fine, and you don't have any shaking or anything like that. So you run that Carfax, make sure it looks good. I think there's a whole video on how to read a Carfax. I think you can look it up. I just watched it. It was kind of interesting. It was already a lot of stuff that I already knew. So if you don't know how to read a Carfax, look up the video on how to do that. But you get the Carfax, you pay your $40. I would go ahead and just pay like the $120 or whatever it is. I think it's like $100 or $80 for 3 of them or something like that. Or you can get 2 for like $70. I don't know. I forgot what it is. Most of the time I just go ahead and I buy 2 or 3. Especially when I was looking at the Porsche Boxers, I think I went ahead and I bought 3 to run. So you get the Carfax, it looks good, you know how to read it, everything's good. And then you go and now after this is where you have to get the seller to do something, which I know a lot of people have a problem doing. This is where you have to ask the seller to take it to get a pre-purchase inspection. So what you do is you call the seller or text them or whatever, you Facebook message them, WhatsApp them, however you're communicating with them, and you say, hey, who's the mechanic that you take this to when you have a problem, and they say, oh, I take it to Joe's Tire Shop, 3 miles away from my house. And you say, okay, would you be willing to take it to Joe's Tire Shop to get a pre-purchase inspection for me? And they should say, if they're a reputable seller, they should say, yes, that is no problem. I'd be happy to take it to Joe's Tire Shop to get a pre-purchase inspection for you. And if they will not do that, then you need to hem up the deal right there and say, okay, bye, have a nice day. We're not doing this anymore because I have to have a pre-purchase inspection. Unless there's some sort of like extenuating circumstance, like unfortunately with the Boxster, I did not get a pre-purchase inspection, which is really stupid of me. But the gentleman lived in a rural area of Florida and was like 80 something years old and did not want to drive the car 2 hours into Jacksonville, had to probably sit there another 2 or 3 hours for them to do the pre-purchase, basically waste over 8 hours of his time to do a pre-purchase inspection. And he had a lift at his house, so I was able to get underneath the car and actually look at it. I could look at a few things. And I know I'm not a Porsche mechanic, but I mean, I knew a couple of things, and I mean, the car ran home. It got home fine. It was able to make it to 2 mechanic trips fine. I mean, do I regret not getting the pre-purchase inspection? A little bit, but also this particular seller, he said that he didn't really care about selling it. He lived on a multi-million-dollar property. This was his fun car that he had for his grandson, actually. He said his grandson got a new car, so he was selling this one. But basically, I offered him a certain amount of money for it, and he said no, he wouldn't go that low, that he really did not care about the car that much, that he would let it sit for, the next 5, 6, 10 years until his next set of grandkids that were younger at the time, currently, were ready to drive it, and he didn't care. And he said, I need to get, basically, to be transparent, he said, I have to get 10 grand for this car. And I don't care, what a pre-purchase inspection says, what anything says. So, that's what I ended up giving him, was that for the car, because that's what he said his bottom line was. And he said he didn't care what the pre-purchase inspection said, even if it said the engine's about to blow up, then, he would still want 10 grand for the car. So, anyway, but you need to get a pre-purchase inspection done. I had it done on the Highlander. I had it done on several other things. And basically, so you call up that shop, that's local to the seller's house for the vehicle, and you say, hey, Joe's Tire Shop, will you be willing to do a pre-purchase inspection, on Friday, this upcoming week at, 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon when the seller gets off work? Hopefully they should say, yeah, no problem. And then the seller takes it over there at the planned out time and says, hey, Joe's Tire Shop, here's my vehicle. My wife is going to come pick me up, and, you just call the buyer whenever it's ready, and then call with the report, and then you call me afterwards. They probably won't tell them that, but you need to tell them that. You say, hey, after they drop off the vehicle, you call me first with your report on what's wrong with the car. And then they should go through. They should be like, hey, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. This needs to be corrected. It's going to cost about this much. And hopefully they'll give you estimates with it. And hopefully they'll give you a real legitimate write-up. But they may not. They may just give it to you over the phone. They may jot some hand notes down from what they see, depending on how the quality of the pre-purchase inspection that you're paying for. So basically, you get the pre-purchase inspection done, and nothing's gonna be perfect on this car. I promise you, there's gonna be something that needs fixing, unless this owner absolutely kept it in immaculate condition. But if you're buying a used car on Facebook, you can bet your bottom dollar something's wrong with it. It may be minor, it may be major. But you go and say that the mechanic tells you that this thing's going to need $2 grand worth of work. You take that back to the owner. You take that estimate and you say, hey man, this is going to need $2 grand worth of work. I know it's going to need a water pump timing belt. I knew about the brakes. So like instead of $2 grand, can we get $1,500 off the price? Because me and you already talked about the brakes. They were squealing. We're going to have to get those. So I knew about the brakes, but, we need the water pump timing belt done. And, we need to redo the spark plugs or something. It's going to be $1,500. The seller may say, can we do $1,000? Basically you use that pre-purchase inspection more times, unless it's a complete, unless they say this motor is about to blow up, do not buy this vehicle. You can 9 times out of 10, you can get a significant portion off of the deal because they'll tell you what's wrong with it during the pre-purchase inspection. And it's a third party that hopefully the seller trusts, because hopefully you're taking it to their local mechanic that is hopefully a good, upstanding local mechanic, and hopefully it's not and hopefully they're not buddies with the seller and just try to like pull a fast one on you, you know. But anyway, so you take it to the mechanic, you get your stuff that's wrong with it, you negotiate your price down with the seller, and then finally you agree on the price with the seller for selling the vehicle, you know, whatever it may be, $1,500, $2,000 off, $500 off, whatever it may be, based on the pre-purchase inspection. And then you go with a buddy, not only to you know, back you up if something goes haywire, but you also have to, you know, arrive in a vehicle, and then you're going to go home with another vehicle, so you need a buddy to follow you in your vehicle. So you go there with the cash with your buddy, and you talk to the owner. Oh, also before this, you need to have seen a clean and clear title for whatever state that you're in too. You need to ask to see the title. Really, when you initially go, you need to say, hey, can you show me the title too? A clean title for whatever state that you happen to live in. So once you go and go with your buddy. I would definitely recommend having a bill of sale too, printing off a bill of sale, or you can jot one up on a piece of paper or napkin or whatever you've got laying around real quick that just says, you know, my name, Joe Bob Smith, is selling, you know, this 2010 Toyota Corolla or Camry to, you know, James for $2,500, you know, as is on this date, you know, and then you both sign there. Because sometimes if you have a bill of sale, that can help bring down the taxes that you owe on the car after you go to register it, which can be helpful too, because I've done that a couple times. When you go to register a car, they tell you, you know, it's going to be like $1,000, or not 1,000, but they'll tell you it's like $500 in taxes or something. You're like, man, the car's worth $3,000. I'm not paying a sixth of the car's worth for taxes, you know. And you go and you show them the piece of paper, and then they'll lower it down to $100 or $200, whatever it may be. But yeah, so getting a bill. So basically, when you show up with your buddy, it's good to have a bill of sale and the cash in hand with you. And you know, you sign the bill of sale, you get them to you show them the cash, but you get them to sign the title over to you, and then you give them the cash and you let them count out the cash right there. And then you know, you say, hey, are we whole? You know, and they say, hey, we're square. You shake hands, you hop in, that you get the keys to your new vehicle. Your new to you vehicle, you hop in it and you drive away, man. I mean, that's my method for buying cars off Facebook Marketplace. I've done that, like I said, about half a dozen times. It's been relatively successful. Some of the times I've not gotten a pre-purchase inspection, and it has not come back to bite me super hard, but it does come back to bite you. So just learning from experience, I would say spend you know, anywhere from 75 to 150 to, I mean, if it's a Porsche, it could be 185, $200 if you're getting with a Euro mechanic. I would spend that all day, every day, before spending 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 plus dollars on a car that could be about to blow up. So that's just my thoughts on it. That's my process that I wanted to share and get out here with everybody. If you think I'm an idiot, let me know. If you like it, I mean, this is just happens to be what I do. If you got any suggestions for me, let me know. I'm not in the market for a car right now because I love this Toyota Highlander so much, and I love my Porsche Boxster right now. But of course, I could go home and that damn Boxster could not start. So anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching, everyone. God bless. Have a wonderful day, and hopefully have a good day at work today. Anyway, have a good one. Bye.